Hello, welcome back to How to RPG. It's all about the monsters today, and you can see before you Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, which is full of all sorts of different things, but it's got a lot of monsters in it. And of course, one of my favourites, the Tome of Beasts by Kobold Press. But the topic for today is actually the Cyclops and using it in your role-playing games. So we're going to go into a lot of detail today with regard to this topic because I did a lot of research on it, quite deliberately for that very purpose. So for those of you who are interested in the Cyclops, you're hopefully going to get exactly what you want. I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. I will say right now that these particular topics take a long time to actually put together, and so that's why you'll probably find the turnaround is about 2 weeks, because I'm not full-time, okay? So if there's any problems with the chat, you'll let me know now before we transition into our live stream. Hello, Fred Hubber, how are you? And I see you're on time. Well done. Like it must be a miracle, right? So yes, let's get into the topic at hand, which is of course the Cyclops for your games. And I believe we're just about ready to go. Okay, I need a drink of water, and then I'm all for it. I might take a couple of short breaks to just drink water as I do this because it's a lot of material. Okay, and talking straight for a long time is hard. It's not actually that easy. So yeah, I will take a couple of breaks. Anyway, let's get moving. It looks like there's a couple of people in here. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about role-playing games. That's right. It could be Dungeons and Dragons, could be Pathfinder, Castles and Crusades, Tunnels and Trolls, like pretty much anything you want. Anything you want. But the topic particularly for today is Cyclops monster lore. For those of you who were hoping I would finally talk about monsters and Cyclops lore, that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So, Cyclops means round eye. The Cyclops is a single-eyed giant that lives in a wide variety or range of communities, including a solitary environment, but that's not always the case. There is no typical Cyclops weight or height, but they are always considered giant size. Cyclops normally wear clothes appropriate to their activities and the level of civilization that they have. The stereotype of the Cyclops dressing in sort of ragged animal hide and sandals only applies to the primitive Cyclops, not the more advanced Cyclops. The cannibalistic nature or man-eating activities of the Cyclops is famous in ancient Greek mythology. But this only reflects a particularly narrow aspect of their behaviour and culture. It doesn't apply to every single one of them. Now, when it comes to the biology of the Cyclops, you'll find there's very little outside of what you see. So I've got a little bit of information for you. The Cyclops skull and bones are usually quite dense, or unusually dense in fact. They have a fast renewing bone marrow that actually makes their bones difficult to fracture because the bone marrow feeds the actual bone, renewing it, and so as the bone becomes more fragile and brittle, as it ages, it's replaced by new bone. The heart of your Cyclops is immensely powerful with a thick muscular wall that beats really slowly, and it grows larger as it ages. So instead of getting weaker as it ages, it actually gets stronger as it ages. So it's not just a process of the Cyclops growing from being a child up to full adulthood. The actual organs within its body actually get stronger, particularly the heart, which is important. Because the Cyclops have only one round eye, okay, they struggle to track movement and judge distance. It's very difficult for them to do that. Depth perception is more restrictive than binocular or having two eyes. So binocular vision is certainly much better than having a single eye. A Cyclops' skin colour varies from dark brown to a light yellow based on exposure to the sun and the clan's origin that they come from. Normally, creatures of large size place more stress on their internal organs, and as a result of this, usually larger creatures have a shorter lifespan and die sooner than smaller animals. But the Cyclops has a perfectly balanced body weight ratio to organ ratio, and as a result of that, it doesn't degrade like other large creatures. The great strength of the Cyclops is partially explained by their great size, but also by the large number of closely packed, fast twitch muscle fibers in their body. This is what gives them their incredible strength. The cell structure of a Cyclops constantly renews itself, and this is because their genetics actually repair their own DNA as they age, and they suppress cancer, and they have a faster immune response than other creatures. The age of a Cyclops can vary from a few decades to thousands of years, so it's quite a long time. Now, if you're going to actually fight a Cyclops, or if Cyclops is going to fight you, how does this work? Cyclops can be armed with any type of weapon whatsoever, but they usually are depicted as a club-wielding primitive by artists. This is not the norm. This is just what people assume is actually going to wind up happening when you face a Cyclops. Because a lot of the time when they face Cyclops, it's going to be primitives rather than the more advanced ones, primarily because those are the only stories that seem to survive. The Cyclops will wear armor and use shields, but their tough hide also gives them some protection from most attacks. It's quite tough, their skin. Cyclops don't need to bother with strategy or tactics in battle, although they can employ them. They don't really need to, because throwing a giant boulder generally ends all conflicts, okay, and scares opponents off. Even if they don't strike their opponent, most people, when they see a boulder flying their way, it's time to run away. If a Cyclops opponent is out of reach, they will use slings. You might be thinking they might use bows. Yes, they could use bows, but they do prefer slings, hurling heavy spears, and also throwing rocks and boulders. Since the single eye of the Cyclops gives them sort of poor depth perception, they aren't particularly accurate with missile weapons, so they're actually better off to be close up when they're fighting. So Cyclops will rush opponents that are close enough to be struck with any kind of melee or close quarter weapon, because close quarter fighting is easier for them to engage in and be successful with. And when it comes to actually throwing something, although they can scare somebody off, they really aren't going to do very much damage because they probably won't hit the target most of the time. The habitat and society of your Cyclops. Depending on the types of Cyclops that you're dealing with, their level of civilization can vary from cave-dwelling primitives to that sort of just live in like a small cavern of some kind, right through to the Cyclops who build durable cities made from stone, metal, bone, and wood. They use all these materials, anything that will last a long time, anything that is, and usually they will integrate a lot of these materials together. The advanced technology of the Cyclops is godlike and magical, with blacksmithing, carpentry, and masonwork their speciality. Cyclops forge exquisite and magical weapons, armor, and items from metal, wood, and stone. The most developed Cyclops civilizations favor the use of geothermal heat and volcanic activity to heat their homes, create metalwork, and develop their technologies around the heat generated from a volcanic eruption, or even just activity of some kind. If left alone, the Cyclops tend to leave armed groups alone, though they are not above attacking a much weaker force if they stumble across one and there's some sort of advantage to them. But as a general rule, unless you're dealing with a primitive Cyclops, they're usually not going to attack you. Captives of the primitive Cyclops are either enslaved or eaten generally. or there's an exception to this, and that is a captive is not usually eaten. It's not very common. It doesn't happen very often, since the primitive Cyclops tend to live in the remote rocky locations of the world. Being poor hunters, just because of their poor eyesight, most Cyclops clans, they keep small herds of goats and sheep to feed them. Some Cyclops clans are nomadic, while others will stay put in their settlements, or their cities, or even their caves. Each spring, your regional Cyclops clans meet to exchange goods, slaves, and to select a mate. On rare occasions, a charismatic Cyclops will arise, bring together several clans to form an empire, or either a wandering tribe. It depends on the type of Cyclops you're dealing with. The largest known tribes number around 80 Cyclops, but that is just the single tribe. When they are brought together into a larger empire or wandering tribe, they can get much larger than that. All group decisions are made by the strongest and toughest Cyclops in the group, usually through intimidation. Cyclops conflicts lead to brawls and fistfights generally. There is no rules in a Cyclops fight, and they can lead to permanent injuries or death for the loser. Cyclops are often hired or enlisted to build massive or grand fortified walls, castles, statues, buildings, pyramids, and other structures. And that's by other races and species, because they're very good at doing that sort of thing. They are master craftsmen at the top of their game. The ecology of the Cyclops. Cyclops can sustain themselves on almost any animal or plant diet, as they have a cast iron stomach. The Cyclops enjoy any and all meat, preferring it above vegetables and fruit. While the Cyclops can live off the land, they really need to because most clans breed livestock, or they actually farm vegetables. Uneducated humanoids believe the Cyclops have absolutely no sanitary practices and rarely even cook their meals, and this is in fact not true. The Cyclops are considered to be one of the easiest giants of their type, out of the giant types of their size, to track, because they bump into obstacles and terrain due to their poor vision, and so they leave a lot of signs, broken branches, leaves, scuffed marks everywhere, so it tends to be easy to track these Cyclops. The lifespan of a Cyclops is difficult to determine because there are accounts of some living centuries, and physically they don't degrade significantly, so you can't actually tell very easily by looking at a Cyclops how old they are. There are few predators that hunt the Cyclops except for ancient dragons, giant worms, and, as it happens, adventurers. However, dwarves go out of their way to hunt Cyclops, as they are well trained in the task of fighting giants, and for whatever reason, dwarves have a big issue with giants, and so Cyclops are on the hit list. Now, how do you go about incorporating a Cyclops into your adventure? I'm going to suggest a bunch of ideas here. These are not just my ideas, these actually come from the Game Master Roundtable, so if you're interested in that video, go and check it out. They are floating around out there, and they will be appearing on my channel at some point, but I'm going to go over them very briefly. You could have a species of giants who give up one of their two eyes to see the future, becoming a Cyclops. So a giant that had two eyes becomes a Cyclops, gives up one eye to see the future. And this is actually the Cyclops from the old movie Krull. Cyclops farmers growing extra large vegetables for giants and the locals. You could make that as I know a farming Cyclops might not be the most exciting thing, but I'm putting it out there. A Cyclops that is jealous of humanoids with two eyes requests like a gnome tinkerer or some sort of tinkerer to make them a periscope eye lens that looks like they have two eyes, so that they can put this on and it sort of takes their one eye and puts another eye off to the side, so they appear to have two eyes, but in fact they only have one eye. You could also have a dwarf tinkerer So make some sort of wrap-around sunglasses for a Cyclops to hide their single eye and kind of make them look cool and protect their eye from the rays from the sun. You could have a Cyclops with poor vision that constantly has to quest for extremely large monocle eyepieces to correct their vision, or just large pieces of glass. You could have a coven of 3 giant Cyclops witches who share a single eye between them, performing duties as oracles, foretelling the future, of course, and casting powerful spells. And you may recognize where this idea has come from. Yes, it's most certainly regarding Perseus, the witches, and Greek mythology. Okay, you could have a tyrannical Cyclops with a cybernetic eyeball or monocle. I think a cybernetic eyeball would be more fun. That has different functions, giving it anti-magic cones, or an energy beam, a slowing time beam, or ray, some sort of frightening ray, kind of like the Beholder or Eye Tyrant, disintegration rays, telekinesis rays, paralyzing rays, sleep rays, petrification. You could have a telescope function. You could have X-ray vision, infrared vision, which is heat vision, and maybe a kaleidoscope for those of you who like the idea of going 60s or 50s. Cyclops you could also have a Cyclops that rips out their eye, and a new chaotic powerful eye regenerates very quickly in its place, giving it different abilities or powers. You could also have a Cyclops optometrist who performs surgery on damaged eyeballs for people, prescribing corrective lenses, and performing replacement surgery, maybe replacing a real eye with another real eye, or an artificial eye. An ancient society of Cyclops whose civilization has advanced technology. You don't have to have Cyclops that are just dumb brutes that hang out in a cave eating people. A Cyclops that wears battle plate armor, so metal battle plate armor that joins, say, a group of heroes and shoots like a heat beam from its single eye when it takes off its glasses or whatever. And if for those of you who are thinking this is Cyclops from the X-Men, it's not. It's actually it's Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still, that giant robot that was silver and shot out a beam. Someone steals one of the eyes from the races of giants, and they wind up with one eye, becoming the Cyclops. Kind of essentially a lot like the first one, but you can fill in the gaps as to how you would make that work. Sorry. Now, how do you go about defeating the Cyclops? Well, look, you're much better off avoiding a fight with a Cyclops because their immense strength and size gives them too much of an advantage. Standing behind solid cover to avoid throwing boulders from a Cyclops is a good idea. Stand behind something that's really strong that can take the impact of a big, huge rock being thrown at you. Target the Cyclops' eye and blind it so it can't see. Probably the smartest thing to do. You don't have to take out one eye. You don't have to take out 2 eyes, just one eye, and it's quite a large eye because it's a giant. Use ranged weapons from a long distance away because they have poor depth perception. So it will take them a little while to figure out exactly where you are potentially, and also too it gives you a greater advantage. You're probably going to be better at shooting at a Cyclops at range than a Cyclops is at throwing stuff or firing stuff at you, even if they are firing a bow. Avoid engaging in a close quarter battle with a Cyclops because they have the advantage of strength and size. Okay. Now, the origins of the Cyclops, there isn't actually one origin. There's probably about 3 different origins that I could find in mythology, and most of them exist within ancient Greek mythology and legend and the stories that were handed down. So I'm going to present these very briefly. So in Greek mythology, the Cyclops were actually the children of Uranus and Gaia, who were actually, now the Cyclops were actually imprisoned in Tartarus by Kronos, their brother, who was one of the Titans. The first 3 Cyclops in Greek mythology are called Argus, Brutos, and Stereopes. I think that's right. The original Cyclops were craftsmen and guardians of the Olympian gods' secrets. And because they were hold the secrets, it's them that actually created Zeus's thunderbolt, Poseidon's trident, and Hades' helmet of darkness. They were all made by the original three Cyclops in Greek mythology. Now, Homer's Odyssey describes the story of here we go. Odysseus and his men. So Homer's Odyssey, describing the story of Odysseus and his men, their experiences on an island with primitive Cyclops, where a cannibalistic Cyclops is sort of like a shepherd living in a cave, and they get trapped in the cave by a big rock, and they can't get out, and of course the Cyclops devours a few of the men until eventually they can figure out how to blind the Cyclops and escape. Greek legend states that Proteus fortified the city walls of Tyrians, with the assistance of Cyclops masons. And this is where we get the idea of builders of the Cyclopean walls. And that is that, the Cyclops were responsible for building the great structures, making them quite strong, moving large stones, and really, they would be the only ones who could, because it would be ridiculous for a normal man or woman to be able to lift these things, so it would be a Cyclops that would do this. So you actually have three different stories. You have the Cyclops from the Olympian gods, who were really the forgers of weapons and various other things, of magical properties and great workmanship. Then you have the primitive Cyclops from the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, and then you have the actual legend of the Cyclops building the walls and fortifications of cities. And these are the stories that have been handed down, yet the only story that seems to find its way into people's hands is the one about the primitive Cyclops, which is kind of a shame, because they have a lot more to offer than just that. Now, I hope that this was useful and interesting to you, and if it was, fantastic. If you found it useful, let me know how you did find it useful in the comments section. By all means, share your ideas with me. I want to say a big thank you to my patrons who support me on Patreon. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. All right, give me a second. I'll just catch my breath. A little bit sorry about the I was really struggling to get my voice to stay together. It comes apart every once in a while. Things shift around in there, and I know a lot of people get frustrated with the way that I speak sometimes, but it's not a product of things that I have that are in my control. They're outside of my control sometimes, and a lot of that is getting harder and harder to deal with. So yeah, hopefully that was useful to you. So let's have a look at chat, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do some work today. We're going to do some work on making some stuff that you can use, which I will be putting onto Patreon. For those of you who are wondering, did Fred ever get rid of that Trojan virus? Well, the virus had not set itself completely into my system. It was trying to, and it had not succeeded. And it looks to me like I've cleared everything, cookies, you name it, extensions. I've run the antivirus offline 3 times, and it looks to me like it's successful, which means for those of you who are patrons and hoping that the stuff from last week would be going up onto Patreon, it will be, because I'll be able to upload it without infecting your computer as well, okay? Or at least, as I said, it hadn't actually properly infected my computer. It was trying to. It was trying to find a way in, but it looks like I've dealt with it. So that also means that today's presentation will be a document that goes up on Patreon, so that you can go through it and look at the stuff and decide what to do with it. Okay. Odysseus, yeah. I struggled. I don't know. It's funny. You practice saying these words, and then when the moment comes during a live stream, you kind of freeze, and I kind of froze today. Got the 2 hour ahead of stream notice for once. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad you got notified, Fred. Dungeons and Chronics. Hello, Dungeons and Chronics. How are you? Are they related to giants? Yes, the Cyclops are related to giants, but in a very loose sense, because they are giants, but they are often considered to, even amongst the Titans in Greek mythology. So, for example, when you look at Greek mythology, a lot of the Titans didn't really like the Cyclops. And part of the reason might be because the Cyclops kind of came, they may have even come before the Titans. The Cyclops may have been a product before the Titans. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's not really clear, but there was a lot of back and forth. There's only one individual who was a Titan from Greek mythology that actually liked the Cyclops and actually worked along with them. And that was, I don't remember the name actually off the top of my head. It starts with E. And the key forger and blacksmith that Zeus had was actually working with the Cyclops for most of their life. You were also informed you leave the Cyclops alone. Look, I'm hoping that AJ will do a video on this because I'm sure he'll do an interesting retelling of how the Cyclops operate. Okay. You like the Krull Cyclops? I do too, Fred. I think the Cyclops from Krull was kind of inspiring to see a creature or a monster that we had always assumed would be like bad, and then suddenly it's helping everybody else out. Of course, you don't get the impression straight away, but that doesn't mean you can't have man-eating or humanoid-eating Cyclops, because you can. Because as I said, there's really about 3 different types. And if you break it down, you could say there's the primitive and the advanced. To be, how's it going to be? How are you? You could say they have an eye for craftsmanship. Yes, they do. They can focus on one thing very, very well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, where is it? So one of the things I realized when we were doing a lot of our monster tables, I'm going to go back to the monster tables. I want to get them finished. So no matter how long it takes, since we can come back to this every week, we're going to finish them. But what I realized is to do the monster traits is difficult unless I deal with the monster powers list, because there's 100 of each, right? Or close to that in some cases. Maybe not exactly, but certainly we're getting very, very close. So I need to put everything into alphabetical order. So that's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is also, I'm going to get rid of this door. I'm going to get rid of this hat and grab my phone, and then we will plow on through this. And I'm going to need some help renaming some stuff, people. Okay. All right. Let's get my phone up. Let's see if I get comfortable here. Let's get rid of this and open this up. See, where are we? Where are we? Is it that one? I hope so. It is. Okay. All right. My phone is up. Good. Okay, so I can see what's going on here. Now, I probably should enlarge all of these documents so that you can actually see what's going on, because you won't be able to see what I've got here. Otherwise, it's going to be too small. So I'll enlarge them, and now check them with my little, where is it? Here, window capture. Window capture. Come on, baby, let's go. There we go. All right, is my head too big or too small? Maybe I can make my head a little bigger. No, I suppose that'll do. Okay. So here is the monster powers list. There's about 83 of them, or 82 or something like that. So we've got quite a few, but I've been trying to put them into alphabetical order because I've started to realize that every time I do this, as I said, because I haven't got them in alphabetical order, we wind up sort of going over the same stuff over and over again, and so I've got to stop that happening. So this is the monster traits, which I did put into alphabetical order. There is a couple there that are sort of I haven't filled out completely, so I'll have to figure that out later. But we're about up to 81ish, or in that range. So I still feel like there's still plenty we can do. But before I want to finish the traits and the special abilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some juggling, move some things around, and I'm going to give you a couple of things to rename. So I put a lot of the things that didn't have tag names on them at the end here. You can see there's a bunch of things here. So what's this one? Okay, so I've got a constantly oozes mucus, allergic to normal atmosphere. Now the problem with something like that is I don't think that's a special power. I feel like that might be more a monster trait, if anything. It's not a monster trait that's gives them an advantage. If anything, it really gives them a huge disadvantage, right? But what do you call something that oozes? What would be a good tag name for oozes, constantly oozes mucus, allergic to normal atmosphere? What would you tag name that? I'm kind of curious. So that's a task for you, people. If you can figure out a name, what is good tag name for constantly oozing mucus? No, mucus. The phone is just a pain sometimes, I'll tell you. Mucus. Here we go. All right. Viscosity, or maybe phlegm. Oh. Maybe the mucus is corrosive. The mucus could potentially be corrosive, but we've got a lot of corrosive stuff going on as it is. I'm happy for this to be a detrimental thing for a monster. I'm actually fine for there to be traits that are like that. Slimer. Viscosity. Slimer, viscosity. What is Slimer and viscosity going to look like in terms of a definition? Is it something that will work for us? Viscosity. Viscosity? Viscosity is a measure of resistance of fluid to flow. That is highly viscous, high resistance. Okay. I wonder if we need to separate them. Maybe these are two things that can be separated. What do you think? I'm actually kind of thinking that Slimer was actually not a bad idea. And if we separate them into two different things, although in here they have been put together, allergic to a normal atmosphere, that could be its own trait in itself. So I'm going to separate these, okay? Constantly oozes mucus, though. That's something, and we could definitely call it just Slimer. What do people think? Does that seem like a better idea? They have more friction, flows slower than low viscosity fluid. Think of okay. So viscosity. Okay, Slimer constantly oozes mucus, allowing it to slide along surfaces quickly. How's that? I kind of feel like that's not too bad. What do you think there, 2B? I think that works, and we can make that a trait, and it's already got a tag on it, Slimer. So for those of you who don't know what happens in these live streams, what I do is I have a presentation which I've done, and then we do a lot of monster building. And so right now what we're doing is I'm just building a lot of tools for people to use to make their own stuff. Because as I've been saying, I am on a bender, because this is not a feature that would use your action. Traits don't use your action, the special powers of your monster do. That's how we're differentiating them. Constantly uses mucus, allowing it to slide along surfaces quickly. Harder to grapple? Right. Maybe we can do something else with that. Come back to that idea. Maybe we can come back to that idea, because I feel like I don't want to tie too many things together. I want to sort of narrow it down to lots of little things. Otherwise, we wind up with too much going on in one idea. But your idea, what I want you to build on, 2B, if you feel inclined, is what would be slippery. Slip. We can just call it slippery, couldn't we not? I don't think we have anything called. We've got sticky. We don't have slippery. We've got Slimer, but we don't have slippery. And slippery would be great. It doesn't have to ooze mucus. We could have something else going on here that makes it hard to grapple. So I'm going to put there, have a think about how to word that, hard to grapple. I'm putting it down on my little piece of paper here as to come back to. I want to go back to the other idea that I had left behind, allergic to normal atmosphere. So what do we call this? Atmospheric sensitivity? Maybe that's what we call it. That can work. Could cause difficult terrain. Slippery like a bar soap. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Slick is similar to slippery. Do we have slick already? Did I have slick? I got Slimer. That's sticky. I don't think we have... Oh, yeah, you're right. Here we go. Slick, the creature. Good spotting there. Who was that spotted that? Galati G. I don't know how you managed to spot that at the bottom of that screen, but well done. Slick. The creature is covered in a slick material or slime. So we've got that down. So yeah, that does the same sort of thing. I don't think we necessarily need to state that it's if it's doing that. I don't think we need to say anything about grappling. It's gonna translate over. So you'll build the rest from there. So I think that's good. I think you're right. Good job. Ow. Oh, it makes so much more. It's so much easier with everything being alphabeticalized. Okay, so atmospheric sensitivity, allergic to normal atmospheres. Atmospheres outside its natural environment. Okay. Atmospheric sensitivity. What do you think, people? Atmospheric sensitivity or too much? Maybe hypoxia. That's actually not a bad idea either. Hypoxia, that's a really good idea. I think you might have nailed that. Let's just look up hypoxia. God help me trying to spell that thing, and hopefully you've spelled it right. Hypoxia. All right. Hypoxia is low is low levels of oxygen in your body tissues. They cause symptoms like confusion, restlessness, difficulty. So hypoxia is more around oxygen rather than other things. Hypoxia is not necessarily a bad idea to put in there, though, as a trait. So I think we've just scored a new one. Well done. You've just added a new one to its to the list. I think what we'll do is we'll keep atmospheric sensitivity unless somebody comes up with something better, because the atmosphere could be a lot of things going on, not just oxygen. So we'll go with this one, and then we'll take your one as well. And atmospheric sensitivity is a trait. It's not a power. It starts with A. Atmospheric. Let's put it about here, I guess. And paster. There we go. We've got atmospheric sensitivity. We need to have something in the H section. Hibernate. We've got that. And then we want hypoxia. Hypoxia. Now, how do we turn this into a trait? Hypoxia. It's low levels of oxygen. I think that's all we need. I think I'll take that bit there. And it'll be a trait. We'll paste it. The creature can't survive with low levels of oxygen. I don't know how that translates very easily into building into a stat block, but we'll put that there anyway, because a lot of the stuff, the traits and the powers, some of them will be mechanical and some of them you'll use as part of your monster lore. Since this is a monster lore live stream, right, that would make sense. So let's do that. It doesn't need air. Do we have one that's like that? Hypoxia. Oh, we wouldn't call it hypoxia. Doesn't need to breathe air. You like the undead. You're talking about like the undead. I don't know. Do we have something like that? We could just create one called undead. Could we not? And then just give it the various things that you don't need to worry about. Undead. You don't need to breathe, eat, or drink. Sleep. Eat, breathe, or drink. Something like that. Have a think about it. Do you want me to? Do we add that as a trait? Because it's in 5e. It's definitely a trait, right? And we don't have it here. Capable of deep sea living, cold, high pressure, dark. Okay, so I didn't number the put this into alphabetical order because I didn't know what to do with it. Okay. No, maybe it breathes a different gas. Well, I think that's what we did with the atmospheric sensitivity. I think that's what we were trying to do there. Is that the assumption is it's kind of an alien and it's in a different environment to what it's used to. So what would that be? Undead. I'm just going to make a little note here. No air, food, water. Okay. Potentially that would be one we would add. Okay, back to this. So we've removed one. Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. The problem with putting this under powers is how is it a power? How is it a power? It's more like a trait, isn't it? asexual reproduction. Copy. Delete. Oh man. Sorry people. Oh man. Drowning in my own. Okay. Alright. Lovely. Asexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction in which a new offspring is produced by a single parent. The new individuals produced are genetically and physically identical to each other. They are the clones of the parents. Asexual reproduction is observed in both multicellular and unicellular organisms. So asexual reproduction could be a trait, and it also could be a power. So it could be something that they do, of course, outside of combat. Asexual reproduction would make sense. But we could also have one that, as an action, creates another version of itself, which would be terribly horrible. I mean, like it splits and divides. What do people want to do? Do you want to have asexual reproduction be a trait and a power? Because it could be. It might look just slightly different, but it's pretty much, I mean, it could be done. What do you think? When it drops to half hit points, I'm not going to go half hit points. The reason being is that's saying it's definitely for D&D. So it's got to be, I want to word it so it's a bit more generic. And I don't want to put that stipulation in there. That's what the Game Master's for. They decide that. You cut this plant thing in half, and now you have two more things to fight. Yeah, okay. And both have the HP of the thing. Yeah, or something like that. I don't even think we need to say that. So let's do this. Let's make it a trait and a power. The power being stronger than the other one. Okay, alright, let's go over here. I don't think we've got asexual reproduction already. No, I don't see it, so let's put it around about there, I guess. So asexual reproduction. So this goes creature. Okay. Creates new offspring by so let's just see. I'm pretty sure it's splitting, isn't it? Budding, dividing, splitting. Okay, that's it. Let's find it. Okay, the creature. The creature creates new offspring by cloning and splitting. Okay. There's asexual reproduction, and then we'll put it in as a power. So we're going to have to go, let's delete this. When injured, it splits in half, and we're going to stick it in the right alphabetical order, Fred. Don't forget, it's got to go in the A section. So we'll take this and we'll make this a bit more aggressive now. Copy. Now when I'm thinking about that, I wonder if we have clone or split already. We could duplicate, makes a copy of itself. There, there's duplicate there already. Split, split, spits, splits. Okay, so we can take that out. It doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to live there. Okay, so I'll take it away. All right, so we've just transferred it over to a different location, and we do have a power that's like that already. Okay, that's fine. Cool, cool. Play possum 2D. Let's take this, cut that, put that near the end of our monster traits, which there are many. Powers, not traits. I'm not dealing with that just yet, am I? Okay, moving down, ying, web, multi-limbs, water allergy venom. Drinking for the next week will incur a penalty. Don't know what that was all about. That's why I put a highlight on it. Osmosis leech dehydrates nearby enemies. Scary. Osmosis cut, and it goes after P, doesn't it? Paste it. P, S is there. T, time weaver. Manipulate time to a small degree. Let's just go this, cut. Paste it. This is R, reactive defense and thief. So these are all sounds like the aboleth thing, not being able to drink water. Yeah, I think that was what somebody had put forward as the aboleth sort of ability, which is fine, as long as I change enough of it eventually. So R and S, so we'll cut them, and we're going to reposition them so that are here. Okay, so while I'm rearranging things, I'm going to give you a new task. Emits infertility or sterility radiation. What the heck would that be? That's a really weird one. So a monster or creature that emits infertility or sterility radiation. What would you call that? Hi Brian, how are you? You're welcome, Brian. I know I know I'm not making necessarily the stuff that people are super happy about and they would prefer just edited videos, but I've decided that live stream is a place where I can live because that's where I can make stuff. Hashtag. What is tag name for creature that emits sterility radiation? It's a really strange feature, but let's get real. It's monsters are like that. How's it going? Can't stay to chat this time because my D&D game is about to start. No problem. So I look forward to watching the video and reading through your comments. Okay, good. Irradiation. Irradiator. 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 Irradiation. Irradiator. Let's have a look. Let's see if this works. Irridator. Is that irridator? Irridators. Oh my god, it's a real word. Irridators are self-shield devices. The external radiation levels are low and exposed to operates. Okay. What does an irridator do? There's actually an irridator. Oh, we're learning something today. Irridators are machines that expose products to gamma radiation to kill germs and insects. Okay, so radioactive. Radioactive. It's probably going to be that, right? Of course it is. Irradiator is definitely protection. It's not really going to hurt you, but radioactive might be the way to go. Radioactive. Pardon me. Define. Emits or related to emission of ionized radiation or particles. Radioactive. I think that's the way to go. I think he's right. Radioactive. I was not yeah. Radioactive. So do we want that to be a trait or do we want it to be a power? I feel like if you're radioactive, you're probably always radioactive. I feel like it's a trait. It's not something you turn on and off. You could, I suppose, but I think it would be more fun if you're always radioactive. What do people think? Do we want to be always radioactive? Radioactive. I'm kind of curious how people think about radioactivity. I honestly think it should be always on. Oh, part of the job you had. Oh, okay. Had a radioactive source. Ah. Both work. Okay, so this is what we'll do. We're not going to call them both radioactive. What we're going to do is we're going to do something that's a bit less aggressive in the trait. Minor radioactivity. Minor radioactivity. How's that sound? Now that there is the sterility thing. And I'm going to go copy it. I'm going to put it under M for minor. Minor. Paste. Right, now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to call it radioactive. And I'm going to make it much worse. Okay, so this is going to be really brutal. Emits radiation that what is it? Degrades organic material okay on off. Okay, so we've got some people who are turning okay, yes, I agree. It could always be on off. Drop the kryptonite into the lead box. It's still radioactive, but shield it from affecting Superman. Much worse. How about causing radiation burns? Yes. Degrades organic material and causes burns. I mean, that's radiation for you, isn't it? There is a pretty nasty power, and we turn that on and off as an actual power. R, where does R go, Fred? And amongst the things that I've been doing here, where am I up to? I think I'm around about here, which means that R is there. Reactive defense. Paste, roughly like that. How's that sound? That looks better. God, melt. We'll cut this here. That's S. Should go here. Paste it. Okay, that's better. MS, okay, P, petrifying. We need to move petrifying, don't we? P goes after M, cut. OP, so it's O first, so OP. Paste. All right, so let's grab another one of these things we haven't determined. Breathes file other energy types. What do we want to call that? So a tag name for breathing fire and other energy types. It's very, very common. Don't tell me breath weapon. Don't say breath weapon to me. Radiation touch. Much worse. Okay. Causing nuclear fusion. Da, da, da. I feel like that's explode. Do we have one that's called exploding? But let's deal with the breath thing. Hashtag. What is tag name for breathing a different energy types? All right. So I'm going to let you guys figure out what we're doing with the breath weapon, which is not the breath weapon. It's going to be called something else. So I don't know. What do you want to call it? Gingeritis? Is it gingivitis? I don't think people are going to take anything that I do very seriously. You probably shouldn't if you're in my live stream. Gingeritis? Exude? Exude. How does exude work? Is that what we're trying to say here? Exude? Exude. Define exude. Discharge or be discharged slowly and steadily. Okay. Display. Okay. The air taken in or expelled from the lungs. Breathe. Inhalation, exhalation. I think I got it. What about exhaling blast? We can do that. Isn't that essentially what that's all it is, right? Exhaling blast. What do you think, people? Exhaling blast. Instead of breath weapon, we just call it exhaling blast. It's pretty close to what we needed it to be. Yeah? Exhaling blast. And that would be a power. All right, I'll let you guys decide whether you like the idea of exhaling blast. Exuding blast, exuding weapon, exhaling blast. I think that's the one. Exhaling blast. Right, let's see if I can find some other things to put into order while you guys are tagging saliva. God, no, that's right. This hasn't actually got a tag name for it yet. So I'll cut this. I'll put this over here somewhere amongst the other things that I have here. Paste it. Works nicely. You agree? Okay, cool. All right, let's do that. Which is going to be an E. So cut exhaling blast. Stays a power. And I got to find the E section somewhere in here. A, B, C, D, E. There. Paste. Eats darkness. It's got a power that eats darkness. I don't know how to describe that. What do you do with a power which has got a tag name of eats darkness? What actually, if it eats darkness? Eats darkness or consumes eats darkness or does it eat light? Eats darkness. How do you eat darkness? I'm so confused what we could do this. Do we have a creature that absorbs light? Do we want to do that? Is that what eat darkness is all about? I'll just leave that. That's too confusing. Belching breath. Belching breath is not bad either. I actually like belching breath. It's got that BB going on there. Just like your name, Brian. Brian Burton. Belching breath. What's it? Thermobaric? What's thermobaric? Thermobaric. I'm just going to make it clear right now. My favourite part of today is always this bit. It's always my favourite bit. Thermobaric. Oh, for those of you who are wondering, I do have the Tome of Beasts 3. It's supposed to be coming to me. But apparently, New Zealand Post doesn't know how to send it to my address. Even though I gave them my address, I had an email from from the book depository saying they don't know how to deliver you the package, Fred. Can you please give us your address and contact number again? And I'm like, oh, good Lord. So, yes, if you are wondering how well do things actually make it, yeah, eating breath, I am lost too, mate. I'm just going to leave it as too hard to deal with right now. Thermobaric. Detonating or related to a very large fuel air bomb which ignites into a fireball when detonated, creating... Holy Toledo! Thermobaric. Right, so that's a power. We're going to use that. It's got a cool name. God knows if anybody's going to understand. Do we have a power that says explode? Exhale? But thermobaric is pretty technical, isn't it? Thermobaric. Let's do this. Copy. Thermobaric, which is going to be T in here under powers. If we're going to blow ourselves up, it's got to be a power. It can't be a trait. that's too cruel. So let's do that non-there. So thermobaric. And it sounds to me it just explodes into a fireball. The creature explodes like a fireball. Like a ball of fire. There we go. There. Gotta watch that IP thing, don't I? So, multiple limbs. I don't know what we were doing with multiple limbs, but it's an M. So I'm going to cut that. And M goes down here. Paste. All right. Did well. Oh, it's top of the hour. I've got to take a break. Release cloud of flammable gas first, then detonates it. I see what you're trying to do there. You're trying to get fancy there. Okay. Thermo creature. Sorry. I'm trying to laugh. Releases flammable farts. And explodes like a fireball. I mean that's essentially what you were suggesting, right? The creature releases flammable farts and explodes like a fireball. Thermobaric, exploding farts. Oh dear. It releases a cloud of flammable gas. As soon as I read the word releases a cloud of flammable gas first, I was thinking of a fart. And it makes sense. It's a creature, right? It's going to be a fart. I mean, it could do it some other way, but it's much more fun. It farts and explodes. And, yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, right on the money there. Dear. Yeah, parasitic. Parasitic is a P. So cut that. Put that in the P section. P. Right, next. I've got an S. Spawn ally. Ooh. Right, spawn ally. Let's take spawn ally, which is an S, and then cut that. I need to get you guys another thing to work on. Spawn is an S. Spawn ally. Paste. Cool. Let's get you a new thing to work on. Oh, this is a hard one. Singing causes visual hallucinations. I mean, what the heck do you call that? Carries a lighter to ignite the emissions. No, it doesn't need to. It's got it built in. It'll be the death blow. You know, when you hit it, it'll be the death blow. Hashtag. What is tag name for singing that causes visual hallucinations? Pyroactive voice. Oh, you guys have got a couple of ideas there. Look, I'm going to go take my quick break, and then I'll come back to this, and we'll continue on our merry way, trying to plough through yet a bit more of this. Hopefully a lot more. But organising that list is going to be the big thing. So give me 5 minutes or less. I'll be back, and we'll continue. Okay, I'm stepping back in here. Enchanting voice. Man, you guys have got some good ideas there. Let's have a look what we've got. Let's see if we can't nail that one down. That'll be another one that's out of the way. Okay, right. Sweet as. So, what is that? I don't know. You're throwing some words in there that are very big. Words I don't know. Not so much big, I guess, just words I just don't come across very often. What is that? And Greek mythology. Oh, Elopinome. To sing or the one that is initially the muse of chorus, initially became music of tragedy, is now best known in association goddess of tragedy. All right. On screech and song. Ah, okay. I'm not familiar with this Greek mythology here. This is, what's this? Screech song. So sings, powers of discipline, explore the causing. Oh, hang on. Discipline, explore the various uses of the voice for both benefit and harm. As in the case with the immortal art, it's now always clear. Take no character. Performance. I think I know what you're trying to do with that by naming it that. I think I understand where you're going with it, because it's kind of like a siren song, isn't it? That's what you're trying to do there. Okay, so I get what you're getting at, to be. Psychoactive voice, enchanting voice. Well, it's not enchanting you, you're just seeing visual hallucinations. Psychoactive voice. Psychoactive voice might be affecting the mind. What does psychoactive mean? I'm pretty sure I know, because I did my degree in psychology, but I'll just make sure that it. Because delirium and delusion, we always get these two confused. A drug that affects how the brain works and causes changes in mood, awareness, thoughts, feelings, or behaviour. Yeah, so it's not quite psychoactive. Hallucinogenic voice might be the way, though. That's pretty obvious. Psychedelic song. I like it. Enchanting voice, psychedelic song. Or psychedelic voice. Yeah. Psychedelic. Okay, related to denoting drugs, reduce hallucination. Yes. Psychedelic. Yes, we definitely want wording in an RPG that is related to something to do with drug taking. There's absolutely no way that Wizards of the Coast would ever allow something like this into their game. I can tell you that now. Voice. So we won't say song, but we're going to just say voice. Song, singing, voice, song. You win out. You got it. You're right. That's what it needs to be. Song. If I can actually spell it. Come on, get it right. Yes. Okay, so we need to put this in the P section. So let's grab you and go cut. You guys are coming up with these ideas faster than I can actually get things shuffled around in this document, which is good. I'm not going to complain. It's great when that happens. But I thought I was going to I'll keep them busy for a little while I do this and figure this out, and then I'll come back. No. Let's keep going near the end stuff. The end stuff is... So what is this? Creates a force field from mental powers, temporary and tiring. I don't know what that was all about. Creates a force field from mental powers, temporary and tiring. I'm just going to put this. That's it. I think that's good enough. That's all we need to deal with. I just need a tag name for that. Someone's going to say force field. And it is. It is. It's in the name. It's in the description, isn't it? I don't need to ask you that. Force field. I was like looking at it. It's like, if I asked them that question, what would they say? Fred, force field. I was like, okay, you're probably right. So it's an F. It's a double F. Yeah, I was insinuating. F D D D D E F. There's a big gap here. I don't know why, but there is. Let's just put it there. Paste it. Lovely. What was this? Well, it doesn't have a tag name either. That doesn't have a tag name either. That doesn't have a tag name either. There are a lot of things here I have not dealt with. Alright, we'll just chuck them down the end. Amongst the weeds. There we go. More weeds to deal with, people. So we've got an ability here which is absorb other living creatures, grows new heads, and grows larger. What would that be? What would an ability like that? Hashtag. What tag name? For a creature power that absorbs other creatures and grows larger with more heads. I almost feel like that needs to be separated. Grows larger and more heads. Because really what we're looking at, this is something that grows larger, and really then you've got the Hydra growing heads thing going on here. So let's just go with grow larger. Okay. Whoopsie. Life thief? Life thief? Possibly. Just cut. Paste. And grows larger. I think that's all we want to do. I don't want to do too much with that one thing. Grows new heads. When they are chopped off. I think we know what that'll be. Tag name for that one. So yes, life thief, maybe absorb. All right. So that'll keep you busy for a little while trying to figure out what to do with that one. And I will try to rearrange some stuff. V, ventriloquism, ventriloquist. V. What's after V? VT. TUV. Paste ventriloquist. Can go there. Right. And then P for pest. Oh, I've got pest hive mind. We can get this. We can cut this and put it somewhere else. Cut. Put it in the P section. Paste. Bam. too many big spaces, so we'll just shuffle some of this out of the way. Sentient limbs. If any limb is cut off, they still try to attack. So I think sentient limbs is an S. We can cut this. Put it in the S section. S, S, S. Sent. He sent me his limb. Sentient paste. Consume, absorb, regenerate. Yes. Consume, absorb, regenerate. Won't be regenerate. Absorb. Do we want to call it absorb life? It definitely needs to be a power because it would be too powerful. Absorb life. I think maybe that is the solution to that one, eh? Don't you think that? I'm kind of thinking that. Where did I put it? Ah, here we go. Absorb life. Consume, absorb. Oh, there's a lot of excitement. They're going out. Okay. Absorb life. Absorb the creature. Monster. Absorbs other living creatures and grows larger. I think that's it. We'll just call it absorb life. How's that sound? Cut. Okay, what do you want to call something that grows new heads when they are chopped off? Absorb. Okay, so we've got that there. Unleash. This is not named yet, so we're going to cut this. Oh, there's another one there as well. I didn't spot it. Okay, well, let's chuck this at the very, 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 very end. At the end of the rope. Paste. Okay. So, yes. Hashtag. What tag name for monster ability that grows a new head when it's chopped off. Okay. Hyper regenerative. Hyper regenerative. Recuperate. Absorb matter. Brian, I like the idea of absorb matter more than absorb life. So the chopping of the head off. I think we might be getting there. I think we've got part way there. So absorb matter. There we go. How's that sound? That looks better, doesn't it? I think that does. Absorb matter. So chopping the head off. Hyper regenerative. Summoning. Let's grab the summoning power and let's grab this and put this in the right place while we're here. S. Summoning it to me. Where are you? Summoning, summoning, stunning, summoning. It'd be after that one. Summoning. Summoning. Bam. Okay. So back to the head one. Well, grows a new head. We're just going to call it head regeneration. How's that? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory then. We don't have to get too complicated and trying to explain it to people. The title tells you everything. It's only 2 words, and then we got, this is what happens. The creature grows new heads when they are chopped off. Bam. Done. Now, is that a power or is that a trait? Oh, it may not be a power. It's a trait, isn't it? It's something that happens when somebody else does something. Holy shizes. Because that's the Hydra, isn't it? That's essentially how the Hydra works. I think head regeneration, the creature, yeah, it's a trait. It is. It's not something you turn on. It's always going to be going, and it's not going to be happening on your as an action on the monster's turn. It's just head regeneration. Shizes. All right, let's put it over here. Well, at least our traits is filling out nicely. Paste. Head regeneration. There's a bit of formatting going on here required. And the number is ticking up on the traits at least. Okay. Yeah, it's a trait. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so let's pick another thing for you to name. Let's pick something that's easy. So spits acid balls, rounds, minutes, days. I'm not going to worry. That's just a placer. So what's a tag name for spitting acid balls? Hashtag. What is tag name for monster spitting acid balls? Alright, so I'll let you guys figure out that one while I chop my way through the rest of this that I still haven't sorted out. Okay, so this is spare the mind. This is not really what we want. Spray, faint, perfect. These are all odd things that haven't got tag names yet. They can go at the end. Okay. Paste them. All right, that's there. Acid expectoria. Vitriol. Acidic expector. Holy shit. I'm just going to say it, people. Sorry. But holy shit. Perfect vocal mimic. Let's just go here. Cut. It's P. Perfect vocal mimic. So we'll put it in here. And I got to look up that word. I'm trying to fathom what that really sort of, what is that doing? What does that mean? Fred probably knows already, but let's see. X. Oh God, it is a word. A medicine which prohibits the secretion of Okay. Acid reflux. I knew we were going this way. Oh, what's a better way to do this? I know. Spit. Thesaurus. Did I? No. Oh, I see where you're getting this. Hawk, gob, spits, expirate, hiss. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. I should have just said acid spit. I'll just do that. The creature spits acid balls. Let's just do that. Loogie launcher, projectile vomit. Oh my god. Oh. Funny. Let's just call it acid spit. I'm going to have to give you something better. I think the next one I give you is going to be harder. Something that isn't quite so acid spit. What do we do here? We stick it about here. It is a power, not a trait. We stick it in this, but there. Okay, well, we're happy with that. Let's go down and find something for you to work on, people. Oh, here's one. Sprays mind-controlling spores. What the heck would you call that? Not a loogie launcher. Hashtag. What is tag name for monster spraying mind-controlling spores? What would that be called? Let's see if you can get that one sorted out. While I go and rearrange things a little bit here. M. This is M. M. Okay, more M's. Then that's H for hard skin. Copy. Copy. No, not copy. Cut. Sorry. Cut. H. Where are you, H? It's A, B, C, D, F, G, F, G, no, G, H. There we go. A lot of work to do in this one, I can see. Still, we are getting closer. Closer to the end. It's not like I knew this was going to... I mean, I knew this was going to take a while. Things always seem to take longer than you were expecting until you start working on it. What have people got here? Domination spores. Puff, 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 huff. Of course. Puff, puff, huff. Really? Jeez. Oh dear. Domination spores. Dominating spores. Dominating. I mean, I think that might be another way to go about it. Fred's not. I think you might be on to something. I like domination spores. Domination spores. You want domination spores rather than dominating spores. I'm inclined to go with dominating spores rather than domination spores. How do people feel about this? Dominating spores, domination spores. Yeah. Is there a way of... I don't want to cheat, but... Is there a way of figuring this out? Oh, okay. Domination spores. Charming chips. No, probably not charming chips. Animating spores, solution spores, pacifying spores. I see. Well, I think we've got this. Domination spores. A creature sprays mind controlling spores. There we go. And we'll cut it. It's a D, so it needs to go all the way down. Subterfuging spores? Yeah. I think dominating spores will be fine. I'm not against domination spores. I was just thinking domination spores, but domination spores. Does it really matter, Fred? Probably not. Probably not. So let's put it in as that. But you shoot these little things out to get them. Psychic spores, yeah, exactly. You guys you're on the right track, right? We're not going to worry too much about that, I think. Oh, this is one that has not been. Oh, there's a few here. There's another one. Oh, there's another one there. Vertical leap ability. Let's just grab all three of these, cut them out, stick them at the end, amongst the many things that are left to be fixed. Right, so that's there. So what's the next one? This is a hard one. Can temporarily increase or decrease body weight. Jeez, what the heck would you call that? What is the tag name for a monster? Increasing or decreasing? Decreasing body weight. Yeah, I'm not sure what that'd be. Density shift. Oh, okay. Either way, it's cool. Yeah, I like. Yeah, it is cool. Density shift. Do people like density shift? I think density shift could do the job. Do you mean? I don't think it's. I think density shift would be perfectly fine. It explains the feature explains what you're trying to do. Deviating shift. Deviating density. Let's go density shift. It's pretty easy to figure out. Creature can temporarily increase or decrease its body weight. Let's call it that. And that's another one down. And that's power, something that it can do. It's not always on. Okay. D, where are you, D? D, din, 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 din. Density shift. Paste. And there it is. It is in. It is on. It is in and on. R, rush, temporary. How do I get all these ones here? This one, play possum. Let's give you another one to work on. It can self-destruct and reform. Oh my god, I didn't even... Let's put that at the end there. This is crazy stuff. Let's go cut. Where did we get that one from? I don't know. Let's go here. It can self-destruct and reform. Hashtag. What is tag name for a monster self-destructing and then reforming? This is a horrible thing because this sort of suggests that this thing could keep doing it over and over again, right? Superposition, summoning mass. I see what you're doing there. Summoning mass, superposition. I don't know about that. Superposition. Yeah, I don't know. These are all S's. Swallow, shape change, sheep's clothing. Oh, okay, these are all S's. I better grab these. Cut. And put it in the S section. Where is the S? The S's are here. S. Phoenix. Oh God. Hey, isn't there a character called, is it Lazarus? Lazarus is sort of like it dies and comes back, kind of like the Phoenix idea. It exists and doesn't exist at the same time. Oh, I see. Superposition. I see what you're trying to do there. I get it now. Let's have a look at this word and define superposition. Superposition. The action of placing one thing on or above another, especially so that they can coincide. Superposition. Superposition. I did it this way. Okay, maybe not. Phoenix, Lazarus. Lazarus. Like the Kroger dingy cat. Okay. Placing one thing above another, especially so they can coincide. Placement of one thing above another, the principle used to determine whether one segment rock is older than the other. Oh, okay, I see. Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, the idea of Phoenix doesn't. I don't dislike the idea. Lazarus of Bethany, also vulnerable as a righteous Lazarus. Let's see, Lazarus. Greek means the meaning of the name of Lazarus is that God is my help. In the Bible, Lazarus was the brother of you. The Lazarus effect, define. Lazarus phenomena is a rare, possibly underreported condition that happens when someone seems to be dead, showing signs of life again, typically several minutes after health workers stop giving them CPR. The condition gives its name from the Bible story in which Jesus resurrects Lazarus of Bethany. I think the Lazarus effect is probably what I want to call it. I mean, I like the idea of Phoenix, but maybe the Lazarus effect is different to this one. Maybe we're actually looking at something else. So let's have a look here. It can self-destruct. Into flames and reform. Phoenix. Phoenix. So this is Let's go here. Phoenix. I should probably go to work now. Phoenix phenomena. Okay. Year of the Phoenix. Ordinary people whose attributes enable them to transform and transcend their own grief are used as models of self-actualization. Oh, I see. Oh, I get it. Okay, so it's a transformation thing that they are. I'm kind of tempted to call it the Phoenix phenomena. I think we will. I mean, I could just call it Phoenix, but I'm going to call it the Phoenix phenomena for now. No. So Phoenix phenomena. So something that it does. A creature can self-destruct into flames and reform. So that is a big P. Cut it. Let's find the P's. No, R, P, yes. Phoenix phenomena. Paste. And I would like to this is like playing possum, the Lazarus phenomena. The Lazarus effect. Okay. Let's, did we have one that was kind of like that? Creature seems to be dead, shows signs. Seems to be dead. And okay, this is a very questionable idea that I'm putting forward. T stressed you. Yeah, maybe. So glad you are online. Well, I'm glad I'm online too. I'm glad I'm online too. This here, I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm not sure if we need it. Like a self-revive. Yeah, but we've got to be careful we don't have too many of these things going on. They might be slightly different and slightly different ways, but yeah, I guess I'm aware that I could wind up overdoing some of this stuff. Okay, I am out of time. And I have, to a large extent, most of it is organised. I think there's just a couple of things that need to be shifted around. Yeah, playing possum. I'm also, yeah. So this playing possum is the one that I'm a little bit worried because it kind of, the Lazarus effect is kind of doing the same thing. So cut P in there. Playing possum. Paste it. Photosynthesis. Plane shift. Cut. It's another P. Put it here. Communicates with smells and body audios and screen. Okay, so there's a few things I've still got to do. Not too many. Okay, I'm going to have to pack it up, unfortunately. So what do we what's happening tomorrow? Today it was monsters and Cyclops, and tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is we're going to make a vampire character, compatible for 5e, using Esper the Bard's new preview PDF for those of you who are interested. And for those of you who are not interested, then that's cool too. But I guess that's the plan for tomorrow. So I better make sure I get organised. I'm pretty sure I've got the latest copy, 4.5. I've got 4.5 now. And I will put up the live stream a little bit later. Let's end this poll. So have you ever encountered a Cyclops in your role-playing game? No, 42%. Yes, 36%. Just watching, 15%. And GM'd the monster, 5%. Not too many. Interesting. Mythic monsters effect. Yeah, I guess it does sort of remind you a little bit of that. I mean, that's what we really want, is we want mythical monsters, don't we? We want mythical things going on. So I am going to have to go. So, hey, thank you to all of my patrons who support me on Patreon. I do appreciate it. It's a big deal that you do this. Everything that we've been doing today will find its way onto Patreon for sure. It's just take me a little bit of time to finish this off by the looks. And for those of you who were just here during the live stream, great. Thank you very much for being here, commenting, responding, just watching the video, just filling in or voting in the poll. I do appreciate it. If you're rewatching the video, thank you very much for doing so, or any of the edited videos or shorts videos. You know that normal stuff that they say on YouTube, but I'm saying it again. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the wee early morning, the afternoon, the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And you got neighbours, so you could be nice to them as well. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.